First up, the spectacular Nah. This is a 2013 movie starring Miles Teller. It's basically a coming of age story. He plays a high schooler and who has problems with drinking. He has relationship issues. He doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. I think I would have enjoyed it more when it first came out. Um, but really, I think it would have been so. Like, my big issue with the movie is that Miles Teller is freaking 26 when he made this, and he's playing an 18-year-old, and he looks nothing like an 18-year-old. Um, some of the cast could get away with being looking, almost 18, but he does not, and he's like carrying the whole thing. And really, I think besides his looks, I think the story just would have worked better as like an end of college, like where do I go now from here, rather than end of high school, like okay, go to college. That's what you're supposed to do. Whereas like at the end of college, you're like, what do I really do? Like at the end of college, no one's telling you where to go next. Like it's literally just up to you now, and it's really intimidating stuff. Like for me personally, like when I was done with college, I had no idea what my next step was, and it took me a long time to kind of figure out where I wanted to go from there. Um, and not saying that all movies have to emulate my life. I'm just saying like that. I think that's more interesting than there's a million of 18-year-olds. Oh, what's next in life? Because really, college to me, college just felt like an extension of high school. Like it's just like silly shenanigans. I don't know. It was still good though. All the actors were really good. It was shot really beautifully. Um, I think it's an interesting, important story. It's the age stuff that gets me. Like they're not high schoolers. They're in their 20s. But yeah, it's still good. Still good. Quite enjoyed it. Now on to Sorceress. This is a super campy movie from the 80s. The basic premise is that there's this evil wizard who needs to sacrifice his firstborn child to get like power, unlimited power, or control of the world or something. It's kind of vague. But then his wife is like, "No, I'm gonna go save the child," and so she runs away. But then the evil wizard chases after her, and then he kills her. And then turns out, oh no, there's actually two children. Which one is the firstborn? I don't want to kill both kids. Um, but then like a good wizard shows up and takes away the two babies, and then they, like 28 years passes, and then the evil wizard finds them again, and he kills their new family, and then the rest of the movie is just like a big revenge thing. Like they're gonna go kill the guy, kill their biological father for killing their whole family and stuff. So that's the story. But so like if you go into this thinking, okay, this is a silly, campy, 80s, ridiculous fantasy movie, it's solid. Like you're not gonna be let down. Um, I loved the music. The music was great. Apparently, it was stolen. I loved that the main characters were women and they were badasses, and they're twins, and like they fought in sync. That was kind of part of their thing, is the two shall be one, whatever. Two who are as one, sorry. And it was kind of funny at first, but then like it actually looks cool, like them fighting at the same time and stuff. I don't know. Um, and the costumes and stuff were pretty great. Uh, I do have some complaints. So basically, my two big issues are it surprised, even though it was only like 90 minutes long, it felt super long. The pacing was just super off. Like they just dwelled on stuff that just was not interesting whatsoever. Like just walking through town is like, ooh, wide-eyed and stuff, but it's just boring. And then my other issue is that so first I liked it that the sound effects, they were just kind of like silly and just like very generic sounding. They didn't put any effort into that. Um, but then like when you get to like a big battle scene and they have just the exact same tink sound over and over again, just layered like 50 times on top of each other, just like tink 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 tink. It just gets super annoying and I couldn't stand it. Like the end of the movie is ridiculous and kind of great, but then like all those freaking tinks on top of each other just kind of ruin it. I'm just like, stop this fight. You're just like driving me insane. Um, but yeah, it was ridiculous and silly and fun. Uh, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. And I wish it was so close to not being an awful movie because it's just ridiculous and awesome. I don't know. It was if that poster looks intriguing to you, give it a shot, but don't expect to. And lastly, the Green Hornet. So this is Seth Rogen's attempt at a superhero movie. I remember when it came out, everyone just like hating on it and stuff and saying it's just awful. And I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. Maybe it's not actually that bad. And then I watched it and I was like, no, this is awful. I hate everything about it. Basically, Seth Rogen tries to do like his normal like R-rated raunchy comedy thing, but it just doesn't work in a PG-13 movie. It just is so muted and it just feels weird and awkward and stuff. Um, and I just hated everything about this movie. Cameron Diaz feels weird in this movie, and I mean the his sidekick, I forget his name. Kato. He's kind of interesting, but then he does like it's like someone played Red Dead Redemption and wanted to do like the bullet time stuff, where it's just like, oh, suddenly I can see in slow motion and I can like see where all the targets are and I can focus in on them, and it looks dumb because it has like this weird veiny filter over it, and I hated it. And actually, I hated the movie so much I didn't finish it. I only got to the beginning of the second act, and I just had to turn it off. And I was like, well, that shouldn't count. But then I was like, I hate this movie so much I had to talk about it and just tell people about it. But I'm like, well, shoot, if I'm going to talk about the Green Hornet and rank the Green Hornet because I didn't finish it, I should probably talk about the other movie that I watched like a month ago at the beginning of quarantine that I also hated and didn't finish. So now for the actual last one, Looney Tunes Back in Action. This is a 2003 movie starring Brendan Fraser and Daffy Duck, and it's like a spy movie. I don't know. They tried to recapture the magic of Space Jam and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and it just didn't work. It wasn't funny. It wasn't interesting. I didn't see this way back in the day. I was probably too old for it at the time anyway. So I don't have nostalgia goggles for it, so that didn't help it. And I was so bored and it was dumb. And after like 20 minutes, I was like, all right, let's pause and like do something else for a little bit and then come back to it and see it. Let's see how I feel. And then I did that. I came back and I was like, nope, this is just dumb. And then I just shut it off. I hate it. It's just not funny, not interesting. Daffy Duck is just annoying and it's just ridiculous. And then also, what's his name? Steve Martin's in it, and he just played a cartoon character, but I get the movies about cartoon characters, but like it just no, he goes too far. It's too ridiculous. I hated it. I didn't finish.